I think I would like to refer to 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 and 16, where John says that we should not love the world. Of course, he uses the word world in a different way from John 3:16. John 3:16 was a reference to the world of people, that whoever believes in him. Whereas 1 John 2:15, he is talking about the world system of values. And there he mentions three things. I want to borrow two phrases from the King James Version. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes. And the third one in KJV called pride of life. NIV says the boasting in what a man has and does. I call that lust for power. It's easy to remember them as three lusts: lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and lust for power. And I've come to this conclusion that all temptations that come to us would fall into one of these three categories. There are no other categories. Now, why he uses the eye sense and doesn't talk about lust of the nose or lust of the tongue or something like that is probably because the eye registers certain things in the mind by bypassing the conscious mind. That means you receive an impression. And so that, I think, in today's world will be something like the display in shopping malls, where you are so fascinated by what you see, you end up buying what you don't need. And so that is one. Second is the lust of the flesh, which is normally in the sexual area of all the instincts of eating, working, and sex. This is a particular instinct which is likely to be getting perverted more than the other two. And the lust for power is really what concerns us in the context. Because when I was a new Christian, one of our leaders told me this: Satan will first try to catch you at the level of unfaithfulness in money, which is covetousness, which is lust of the eyes. But if you don't fall for that, he will get you into lust of the flesh, particularly in the area of sex. If you don't fall for that as well, then he will lead you into this lust for power, which is very often by tweaking a right doctrine into areas in which strays into shadowing areas. And he put it this way. He said wrong doctrine can attract people more than right doctrine. Because right doctrine, after you have taught them, you leave the people to go and live according to that doctrine. Wrong doctrine always gets people to come back to you so that you hook them onto yourself and they start eating out of your hand, or they start quoting you verbatim. Again, they'll pick out verses here and there. So I think the big problem behind this is this doctrine. That's why you find people who are teaching this, some of them have totally gone overboard to the wrong side. Some of them, as one of our pastors say, they are on the slippery slope. They are moving towards that. I wish they would not go down all the way. And I think that's why what we are doing here in recording these things, I hope will be useful to the church here in Chennai. Because I think this is part of the problem that we need to begin to see, that these doctrines which seem to be specialized doctrines are actually wrong doctrines, which get people hooked onto you. You may have bigger attendance in those churches than in the churches which teach biblical doctrine. And of course, the more people come, they would always say it is God who is attracting them, the Holy Spirit is convicting them, and so on. And I think we get into ever greater danger. So I think that is one of the things in which I would like us to be very careful about.